All right, here we are. It is Hearthcenter once again. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a great week. Hope you're excited to tune in to some amazing, exciting Hearthstone related things that happened in the world of THL last week. We are going to start off this show like we usually do. Up at the top left, it is a man who needs no introduction, so I won't give him one. How's it going, Lemur? Oh, did I mute you? Or are you on mute? Uh, can you guys hear Lemur? I hear nothing. Hmm. Did Lemur disconnect? Marty, can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can hear no one. What is happening with the audio? It's me? Huh. Uh-oh. Chat, can you hear me? This was working literally just a moment ago. Oh no. Not like this. You can hear me, but not anyone else on the cast. All right. What's going on, Discord? Why are we doing this tonight? Testing? Anything, guys? Mic's going through slobs fine, yeah. Desktop audio works too, but I can't hear you guys coming in anymore on... Oh, come on. We may need to restart. Um, I guess I will... Well, I'll try disconnecting and reconnecting here. How about now, guys?
Can you hear us,
Anything?
Ron Mexico?
I can hear you. Okay.
Oh, ho, ho.
Okay.
Big news?
This sounds good.
Okay.
Chat, can we
And
hear?
all cameras
hear
are
us
out of
yet?
place.
Yeah, the cameras are all... Actually, the cameras are just gone. They're just gone.
Woo! You don't
Okay.
need to see us, guys. Don't worry about it. We're still here to bring you some great Hearthstone content.
I'm going to say, I was actually going to show my face today, but now I'm not. So deal with that.
Amazing. Okay, well, Discord decided to play a prank on me. I will try to get those cameras up and running for the next time we get to the caster screen. But for now, let's just move on to our next cast member here, Marty. Coming back to us after an undoubtedly rigged show last night on Around the Saloon. Wild Guru Marty B, how you doing?
Man, you keep mentioning this saloon. I don't remember any saloon. I thought it was canceled last week. I'm going 2 weeks running on this reigning champ.
Oh, fair.
So
I like
Can't
it.
confirm. Did not see Marty
they
lose.
kicked me off, but that would be rigged. So
Solid.
I doubt they would do that.
All right. Oh, I think I got Cam's back on too. Hey, look at that.
Woo! Let's go.
Love to see it. Okay. And then finally, at the bottom right. Oh, well, let me restart here. To your bottom right. He's unfailingly polite. When he's on the show, he's always a delight. You know it's got to be Dr. Lotus Knight. How you doing, Lotus?
I'm doing great, Ron. I'm a little bit tired, but excited for today's show. I think there's just a lot of stuff happening in DHL right now.
There definitely is. THL is getting all kinds of exciting and interesting. And without further ado, we should just jump right into our players of the week. If at least if this would stop playing pranks on me, it's doing something again. Oh my god.
What's are you okay, Ron? Do you need assistance?
I'm having some trouble today. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Let's let's get into players of the week. We're gonna start off with our hero player of the week. Lemur, can you read me off the player of the week for hero, please?
Absolutely, I can, Ron Mexico. Our hero player of the week for the final week of the regular season is none other than J.R. Juggerlaw. What? S? Yes, ESQ? Explain that to me. I don't know what that
Esquire,
means.
J.R.
Esquire?
Juggerlaw, Esquire.
Esquire!
It's a lawyer term, yeah.
It's a lawyer term. There you go. Heard it here first. I didn't go to law school. Sitting with his team at 11-10 against Fair and Balanced, but more importantly, at 110 overall points, JR needed a win to push Tan, Pam, Surf Slam ahead of Jet, Dad Legend, F2L, and Servants of Yogg Saron to secure their spot in the playoffs. Facing down a formidable opponent in Adair, JR laid down the law, pulling off a 3-1 victory to take second place in purple and earn a postseason appearance for TPSS. That's a case closed. Brought to you by
Nice.
Dr. BOMD. Also, my wife just laughed in the other room, so good job, BOMD.
Very, very stylish write up. Love to hear it. A lot of lawyer related things there is excellent. Next up, we have our legacy player of the week. Marty, can you tell me who was our player of the week in legacy?
Well, a wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives always just in time. And this wizard isn't done yet. In Battle of Undefeated 2 Seeds, Just in Time comes away still standing and aids his team in defeating defending champions Dad Legend. It'd be foolish to stand in always Just in Time's way. You have to be absolutely mad, man.
Nice. Coming in strong with the puns here. Good write up by Based. Next, we have our wild player of the week, Lotus Knight. Can you tell me who was our wild player of the week?
Sure. The Blair strings together a 3-1 win over fabled Wild legend Memnar to help propel his squad over one of the most renowned teams in Wild Series. A little agony goes a long way.
Nice. Really
Lotus,
going
you
in
have
on these name-related puns here. Glare, of
Yeah.
course, named after Dark Glare. Lotus, I threw you that name because I was kind of hoping you'd say something like GL4R3, but you navigated that well. Nice.
We were so excited.
I
All
actually
right.
saw this one today earlier, and I realized it. I'm like, okay, it's a good
Oh,
thing when
you
you're looking at
prepared.
wild names. So.
Smart. And finally, for Pro, Due Process keeps themselves right in the thick of the playoff race thanks to a massively clutch victory from Boolean, who proved to be the deciding factor, taking the victory in 5 games to secure a 14-13 win for his team. Members of the team will surely put their faith in Boolean on this next question. Due Process makes playoffs, true or false? And that one brought to you by yours truly. And there it is, your last week players of the week. Congratulations to these players. Nicely done. And hopefully we will see more of them in the near future. Let's move on now to our recap. We're going to start off, as we always do, with the Hero series. Let's get the Hero Meta Report up on the screen here. And we've got Druid, Paladin, Rogue, and Warrior, the top brought lineup, although it didn't do all that great. Paladin, Priest, Rogue, Warrior certainly looking a little bit better. And as we can see over the course of the season, this of course being the final week of the regular season, Paladin has become the new enemy number 1 in bans, Warrior close behind, and taking the top spot in overall bans for the entire season, Warrior was the most banned. What do we think of this meta, guys?
I think it's very important to note that you just should have brought Hunter this week. 100% win rate down there with the Hunter Paladin Rogue Warrior. I was
Incredible.
among one of those two that brought Hunter in Hero Series, and I ended up sweeping. It was very nice. Didn't have to play the Hunter at all. It was great.
Nice. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Strats.
just bring bad classes and then don't play them, and you'll win the series. Easy.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it's interesting that people decided that Druid was going to be the way forward rather than Priest when we can see such a higher win percentage from the lineup that did end up bringing Priest. I get that Token Druid is like the super fanciful fun druid deck to play. But I honestly, and I think most of meta reports agree with me, I don't think it's higher than tier 2, and I think that Priest just has a better lineup into the field, or a better matchup into the field than the token druid. I
Nice.
think that's what we ended up seeing in the hero series.
Absolutely. So, without spending too much time on the meta report, uh, I just I gotta say it's been a long, long time coming. If you're out there, if you're watching tonight, always just in time. Turtle, C-Mac, Nine Eyebrows, Skirt Reynolds, maybe Orion who subbed in once. You've been waiting for this moment basically all season long. Well, guess what? It's finally here. Orange Conference had a new leader to close out the series. No longer ATL's logo in the top left. That's Tonk if you are corny. They took the top spot on the back of an overwhelmingly powerful 5-point victory. Or, sorry, 5-point total performance in a loss to limp their way into the top spot as the season ends, and they get the top spot there. Congratulations to Tonk. It's been a season-long struggle. ATL was dominating Orange all season, but they did it. They had just enough with those 5 points to get over the top and claim the top spot in the Orange Conference. You see that black line there drawing the line from who made playoffs and who didn't. So your 3 playoff teams from Orange Conference, Tonk if you were corny, Advanced Tactical Lackeys, and a Gungan us among. Servants of Yogg Saron ever so barely missing out on playoffs, had the same amount of points as another team that made it and lost on tiebreakers. Dark Side of Cthulhu, come on, step it up, Dante. You didn't even get a win? Not even one? All
They,
right.
they tied consolation prizes.
They did tie. They did tie. But let's start off. Tonk if you were corny versus a Gungan us among. Lotus Knight, can you break this match down for me here?
Sure. Tonk, if you're corny versus a Gungan as a Mong. It was a match that happened. Tonk, if you're corny, was the big favorite, but a Gungan as a Mong, or Agua as they're known, kind of showed that they're not a team that is going to fall that easily, and got a 20-5 result with Dardar, Avi, Molstar, Scritch, and Robocats getting a win. Robocats having a crazy 5 seed season, still at 50 PR, so value for those of you captains who are trying to make teams for next season. Keep an eye out.
Can I
So
point out
much
that he's a
value.
top
Totally
legend
unfair. He
player?
just hit legend again like
I
yesterday,
was
maybe?
gonna say he was like top 300 every time I saw him on my friends list the last couple
Yeah.
seasons. So
Yeah, absurd. But very,
Yeah.
very strong victory for Agua here. They needed it bad in order to make playoffs. They needed a
Yeah.
big performance,
Oh,
and they did in spades.
yeah,
Next
absolutely.
match, we have Servants of Yogg-Saron versus Dark Side of Cthulhu. This was really close. I mean, agonizingly close. Marty, talk to me about what happened here in this match.
Marty's not back yet, but I can take over for you.
Oh,
So
I should have
we've
checked.
got Servants of Yogg Saron versus Dark Side of Cthulhu. 15-12, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, and I think a lot closer than a lot of people thought it was going to be. Dark Side of Cthulhu brought it up very, very competitively. Obviously, Servants of Yogg Saron ended up winning, not enough to propel them into playoffs. But Dark Side of Cthulhu with these match scores definitely played spoiler. Even with an 0-7 season, they essentially said, "You're not making playoffs if you're playing us the last week." To Servants of Yogg Saron, which is something that you can't understate. If you can't win games, at least stop other people from winning games.
Yep, playing Dream Crusher, and if Harash had taken a win over Markshire, or if two-star Mako had even got a single additional point in that 1-3 loss to Anfall, Servants of Yogg-Saron would have made the playoffs. It was that close.
Yeah.
So just missing playoffs by, I mean, literally 1 point would have made the difference because they lost on tiebreakers. A heartbreaker for Servants of Yogg-Saron, but they had a very strong performance
I
right
mean,
at the end of
a
the season and almost made it.
A Gungan Us Among having a 20-point week certainly didn't help. Servants of
Yeah, they kind of got
Yogg-Saron
kind of got crowded
chances
out
there.
there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
20-point week from Gungan Us Among.
Oh, and Marty, you came back just in time. We're talking about Servants versus Dark Side of Cthulhu. Anything you want to say about this match and losing the tiebreaker, or you just want to move right on to purple?
Yeah, so that match, it came down to mine, we thought. Because everyone was telling us, yeah, just get the one match, like the win, and you're pretty much in. It was very likely that we would get in because no one expected Agua to get 20 points,
Yeah.
which is insane. Congrats to them. And then I figured, okay, I can win this. It was a crazy matchup, but went down to 5 games. I got the win, and then we thought it was going to come down to a coin flip tiebreaker. And then Hack comes in and is like, guys, you don't need a coin flip. Servants is already eliminated. It was so deflating, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
okay. So everyone
Well,
knows the
there's
craziness.
always next
They were
season.
paying attention. So yeah,
And with that, we are going to move on to the Purple Conference. Let's get them up on the screen here. And only 2 playoff teams from Purple. Vote of some confidence, taking the #1 spot in overall points, undefeated. Just, we had a great season. We're happy about it. Now we have to face down the undefeated curse, as it were, like NPH, who went undefeated in the regular season last season and immediately lost in playoffs. Who knows if there's a curse or not? Followed by Tanpam Surf Slam, who put in a really impressive performance in the stretch run of this season. They looked all but out of it, and Dad Legend looked all but in. But yeah, I'm sorry, Isocles. It's classic Dad Legend stuff again. This is, I believe, the second time that Dad Legend has put up a 20-5, or I mean, I should say a 5-20 or something, to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, as it were, and not make playoffs. You hate to see it. But sometimes this happens. I think it's a lingering curse from the Daddies, which was a travesty of an award show that happened when Dad Legend won Hero Series, back in the days of Saloon with Ted and Sage and Quaz. Who knows? Who knows what might be happening there? But Dad Legend barely missing playoffs. Feet of Cthulhu coming a little bit closer than I thought, but didn't get quite enough to make it there. And Fair and Balanced bringing up the rear in purple. Not enough wins or points to get there. We're going to start with our recap with Tanpam Surf Slam versus Fair and Balanced. Lemur, can you start me off with this one here?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tampam Surf Slam, a lot of people did not think they were going to get in, and then Dad Legend became Choke Legend, and suddenly Tampam Surf Slam is in the playoffs for the Purple Conference. Absolutely huge. Desharmo got swung a victory over Wild 9, which was expected for many. JR, our player of the week in Hero Series, beat Adair 3-1. Osmanov falling 2-3, but that's okay because Washing the Wind got him with a 3-2 win over Omne, and Clarity unfortunately fell to King of Pixel. But this match mattered so much because the point discrepancy here is 4. The point discrepancy between Tanpams and Dad Legend is 4. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Dad Legend had the tiebreaker. So if this match had gone even slightly differently, Dad Legend would probably still be in the playoff spot over Tanpam Surf Slam. And that means that every point mattered for Tanpams this week, and they brought it home. Dad Legend choked, Tanpam surged. What can you say? They're in the playoffs now.
I mean, I just love seeing the purest example of every point matters. We talk about it all the time. It's really important to try to play out your matches as much as you can and do your best every single week because you never know if that 1 point could make a difference. We see one team missing out on playoffs because of time breakers, another team missing out on playoffs because they barely lost in the final week with a massive point flip. So absolutely, that's your case in point right here. And I don't want to, I guess, drive the point home too hard here, but I am still going to come to you, Lotus. Dad Legend versus Feed of Cthulhu. Talk to me. What happened here?
This was honestly, I can say from our team side, it was like every single match, something crazy happened that, or a lot of crazy things happened that it ended up going this way. It's a balanced match. Vita Cthulhu is a very underrated team, I think, because all these players are really insane. Even if their record this season doesn't justify it, these are really good players. Cat is the only one I did not know. Um,
Yeah, I
I can
definitely
say,
agree with that. Feet of Cthulhu, I thought they were one of the hype teams coming into the season
yeah,
and had a disappointing season, but they had the opportunity to play Dream Crusher, and man, did they seize it.
yes, it's true. And that's really all I can say here. But it was, honestly, it was fun playing with them. I like playing with people who I have a good time playing because I know they're good players. And that's what I'm always looking for.
Nice. I like it. Those great words to end the season on, and we will give another congratulations to our playoff teams when we get the Hero playoff bracket up in just a moment. But first, we know you guys have been waiting for this as well. This is the final player power rankings for Hero Series. Coming up on the screen right here. Let's see who made it. Who's number one?
Wait, isn't there one more conference?
Uh, did I not
Yeah,
go over Teal?
there
Oh my
should
God,
be
I
there
didn't
should
even
be
look at
another
Teal.
conference in there.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Sorry, Teal.
Spoilers,
Uh,
spoilers,
I'm
spoilers. Trying to skip over
Oh,
transfer students, Ron.
yeah. I honestly, I'm kind of out of it today. I don't know what's wrong with me, but we're gonna go with Teal here. Before we talk about PPR and a playoff bracket. Uh, maybe nobody saw that.
nah, nobody
And
saw it.
yeah. No,
No
nobody
worries.
clips that, right? Okay, so starting off, Teal are three playoff teams that made it from Teal. Ask HS, Dab on 'em, and F2L Black coming in with tiebreaker. No pros here and transfer students, not quite enough to get there. NPH only missing out on playoffs by 3 points, so this was close. And we're going to start with Ask HS versus F2L Black. Marty, if you can talk to me about this one.
Yeah, so this was a very important match for F2L. They needed to pull a win here, and unfortunately, they didn't. Ask HS was playing the role of upset this time around, with Mr. Python staying undefeated all sweep over Itachi. Rebob getting a win over Dr. Bombed. Hockey finally faltering a little bit in the final week against Draco Cat, 2-3. That's really big news. And then it came down to the Rotted Zombies match where he had to win. And not only did he win, he got the sweep. And that's the only reason why F2O Black is even in playoffs right now. It's crazy to think about, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge win for F2L. Like we keep saying, every point matters. So they didn't even get the victory over Ask HS, but the wins where they got them were super important, as was every single point that they picked up, and it made the difference. They now are entering into playoffs with the chance to see if they can continue the curse towards the undefeated teams. F2L Black will be playing against Vote of Some Confidence in the first round, so it'll be very exciting to see how that goes. I wanted to try to
Uh,
get Itachi on tonight just to see if he could talk some trash and talk about how he predicted F2L making playoffs when they were sitting at the bottom of the standings at 0-2. We've got that clip somewhere. But unfortunately, Itachi wasn't able to make it with us tonight. But still, we'll be excited to see how F2L performs in the playoffs.
I will say, very interesting to see Rotted ban out Druid in a lineup that brought Druid, Rogue, Warlock, Warrior. So I'd be interested to hear his thoughts on that. But getting a sweep on it, go for it. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's
Do you
that's
want the
licensed
answer?
to just do whatever.
Should I spoil?
Spoil if you know the answer. Absolutely.
So Rotted swept with Rogue.
Oh,
Rotted up with
spicy.
Rogue. Cool. Yep.
Yes.
Played the aggro Rogue. Well,
Rogue.
don't say
Well,
that because they made
there
playoff.
happens to be a
Yeah.
player
I won't
on the
say
team that
I
they're
won't say what
facing
he
in
used.
this.
I won't say what he used, but I will say it was fun and interactive. as
Oh,
Rogue
hints,
always is.
clues. Yeah.
I mean, you
I
can
mean,
say
not
that
that it's
about
any
any rogue.
surprise. I would expect it
All right.
probably would
No
be that
rogue
though.
it is. Moving on to the next one.
All right. And then the next one, Lemur, I know you've been excited to talk about this. Transfer students may not have made playoffs, may not have gone on that tear that you predicted
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
late
whoa.
season,
We
but
still went on the tear. We still went on the tear. Don't
okay,
worry.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. Take it away.
All right. So we beat Dab on him this week. Obviously, Basic and I go way back. She's fantastic, great teammate, even better captain the majority of the time. Unfortunately, we had to do it to her and the rest of the team this week. Transfer students taking the 14-9 victory over Dab on them. Bach had a really, really rough season. Meta wasn't really for him the majority of this. The rest of the team, barring Jester in the last couple weeks, but he did this week, brought it back pretty well. So Chaser was undefeated in the season post the change that made Ramp Paladin a deck. No correlation there whatsoever, trust me. Then we had myself, who was playing awful this season, and then we just decided to bring Hunter, and then we would win the game because Hunter is the best class in Hero Series, bar none. Moving on, we beat Dab on him, so essentially that means that we beat the first round of playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see who Dab on him plays against and if they win, because if Dab on him wins the conference, then Transfer Students essentially won the season. So I'm very, very excited for how far they go in playoffs and to see how they grow. And best of luck to them. But also, if you're playing against Doing, you always ban Hunter for the record, and we did that, so we won the series.
Smart. There you go. All right, and that wraps it up for the Teal Conference. Sorry for jumping the gun there. Now, back to the final player power rankings. I'm sure nobody could have possibly had this spoiled for them earlier. Let's get this up on the screen here. We have our number one. It is Turtle. 7-1, 23-7, 38 PAR. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. Number two is undefeated. Well, get your rigged emotes ready. Mr. Python, incredible season, 8-0, but finishes the season at our number two in Hero Series.
He won an extra game and lost 2 less games.
Yeah, seems about right. Just get better PAR, easy.
Oh,
Followed by RoboCats coming in at number 3 at 7-1, 34 PAR. Isocles in our 4 spot, 6-2 and 27 PAR. Boozosaurus skyrocketing up these rankings. We didn't see him for the majority of the player power rankings, but right at the end, he just kept going on a tear. That's 6-1, 19-10, 25 PAR. Hockey Boys bringing up the number 6 spot at 6-2 with 25. Brushy Tuna, he stopped playing about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it didn't matter. He still locked down the number 7 at 6-1.
Rigged.
Risen.
He only played 17 games, and he's
Right.
on this list still.
Unbelievable. Well, more than 17 games, but
I'm so sorry, 27 games.
there you go. Hey, he did enough. Risen coming right behind his teammate at 6-2 with 23 PAR in the number 8 spot. Heat Shock at 6-2 in the number 9, and rounding out our top 10, it is Gymphalos at 6-2 with 21 PAR. Congratulations to our Hero Series player power rankings players. This is your final PPR report. And we have our honorable mentions, which for some reason I chose to hide the honorable mention spot. Let's put that up there. Honorable mentions, we have yours truly, Ron Mexico at 6-2. We have Ridiculous Hat coming in at 5-3. Neji Boston, who I think is in every single PPR list as the number one crossover player in THL right now at 6-2. We have Desharmo at 5-2, and closing out the honorable mentions, it's Diamond at 5-3. And if I'm looking at this right, that's the entire team of Vote of Some Confidence in the 9, 10, and 3 out of 5 honorable mention spots. Good job, team.
Yeah. Good job. Going undefeated will do that for you.
Absolutely. Um, and I know, Lotus Knight, you are gonna need to leave us soon. Don't have enough
You,
time to spend with us tonight. I can kind
I
of give the
wish it
floor to you
could.
now for final words if you'd like.
My final words are: we have a lot of action for Scrum this weekend. I'll let Marty talk more about Wild, but I do have to say we are going to have Nails versus Tad for Pro, which is a crazy match, 1 p.m. Sunday. So, looking forward for everyone who would like to join me then.
Awesome. Excited to hear about it. Well, thank you for joining us. I know it was an abbreviated time that you had to spend with us here tonight, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next week, Lotus.
Sounds good. Thank you all. Have a great night and a great show.
Thanks, buddy. Take care. All right, and
Take
with
care.
that, we are going to move on to the last part of Hero Series. Let's get this one up on the screen. It is your playoff bracket, brought to you courtesy of Marty B's wonderful uh, skills in Photoshop or Paint or one of those functions. But anyway, we have our bracket is Vote of Some Confidence versus F2L, Dab on 'em versus ATL, Tonk If You're Corny versus A Gungan Us Among, and Ask HS versus Tan Pam Surf Slam. That's how we're going to start off these playoffs. We won't go into predictions, and we'll leave
Oh,
that to our prediction show, which comes
oh
up
man.
tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in Wednesday at 9 p.m. for Tavern Talk, where they go over predictions. Um, but here it
F2L
is.
beats vote of
These
some
are your
confidence.
playoff teams. What? Hey, hey.
What was that? I didn't hear.
Yeah. All right. All right. I see you, Lemur. Okay, that's fine. So once again, congratulations to your Hero Series playoff teams, and let's move on to Wild. We're going to start off with the debut of a new graphic we have here for you tonight. We've got archetypes now for the Wild series and what has been brought, again, courtesy of Marty B, bringing us such a fantastic breakdown of what we've been seeing. A lot of bans still on Mage and Priest, it looks like. And those have been kind of dominant throughout the format, followed by Warlock and Warrior. But Marty, what are we looking at meta-wise for these archetypes and otherwise?
So meta-wise, I'm just going to go through this graphic as I do every week behind the scenes. Um, Priest is, of course, the most popular bring. This is split between Combo Reno Priest and Big Priest. We still have a Quest Reno Priest. That's courtesy of White Delight. His special secret sauce is a weekly bring for him more often than not. Beyond that, we see Darklair passing Reno Warlock this week and regaining the title for most popular Warlock deck. Last week we saw Reno Warlock get more popular than Darklair. It was the first time in over a season that we had seen Darklair become the second most powerful or second most popular Warlock deck brought. Okay. Outside of that, there was a Dinomancer Warlock. Shout out to Maxi. Maxi brought a Dinomancer Warlock
Nice.
um 6J and unfortunately lost there, but still has a fantastic record. We'll be talking about that a little bit more later. Um, let's look at Mage. 44 brings there, mostly secret. There's a lot of variety here, though. Mage has been one of the most varied classes in general, strictly because its archetypes can be built in so many different ways. We have secret, and then we have Reno secret. We have LPG Reno, and then we have Control Reno, where it's a much more anti-aggro build. We have Quest, and then we have Reno Quest Mage. And then beyond that, we have Spell Damage, which is based on the Spell Damage burn mages that we've seen in Standard, and Mozaki Mage, which is also based on the standard Mozaki builds we've been seeing. After that, we take a look at Rogue. It's pretty evenly split here. Odd and Kingsbane being the primary archetypes, followed by some Mill Rogues. Those Mill Rogues didn't do too well this week, but they have been successful in counter queuing in the past, so keep an eye on Mill Rogue. As for Druid, J Druid is now the most popular Druid archetype with 12 brings there. Malygos Druid falling to 9 brings. It hasn't really shifted too much. Jade has actually been increasing slightly over the weeks, So something to look at there. Then we have Paladin. Odd is still the dominant archetype. Have a few others outside of that: Exodia, Libram, Clown, and Murloc. Those are all pretty much counter inclusions, counter lineup inclusions, I should say. Maybe you can say Clown, but for the most part, Exodia was part of a counter lineup. Okay. If we go down and take a look at Warrior, Warrior is still all over the place. Odd is the most popular archetype. Then we have Pirate, Galakron, Dead Man's Hand, Bomb is making a comeback, and even ETC Warrior is still there. Okay, so Warrior is just everywhere in archetypes. Nothing really dominant, but the fact that it offers so much in different matchups makes people want to bring Warrior. And finally, we have Shaman, Demon Hunter, and Hunter. I'm going to toss these in together because Shaman is in a weird spot. This is actually the first week in a very long time that we haven't seen any even Shaman whatsoever. As for Demon Hunter and Hunter, Hunter is just the same people mostly bringing it, with the exception of Tonk Hunter, which has been seeing play for the last 2 weeks with one person. Then we have Demon Hunter doing the same with 2 odd Demon Hunters and 1 Soul Demon Hunter.
Nice. All right. That is, as always with Wild, just a very, very varied list of things that players are going with. It's always kind of exciting to see like what the new changes are going to be. I thought even Shaman would be just a almost constant staple in Wild, so it's interesting to see nobody even brought that this week.
God, I
There's
wish
just
it
always new
was.
shakeups.
Yeah, I'm a huge even shaman player, and I haven't been able to bring it for the past 3 weeks in good conscience because I just thought the deck was going to be trash into the field, and it seems like everyone else in Wild agrees.
Yeah, just a quick shout out. We're probably going to be talking about that this weekend on Schoolstone. So if you want to hear more about that and a few other things going on in WoW, make sure to stop by and listen to that.
Nice. And with that, we are going to move on to our recap of the Green Conference. Let's get this one up on the screen here. As always, everyone's a winner, just a stranglehold on the conference. Although it it should be pointed out, F2L Viridian is starting to close the gap a little bit. There's only a 20-point difference now between everyone's a winner and F2L Viridian. Very, very clearly, just the top teams in Green Conference and I think in Wild overall. These teams are almost certainly making playoffs. I can't see any world where they're not. If the playoffs were to start today, we would see the Entertainers and Hair Club be the other 2 teams that would make it in from Green. However, we're going to follow with Made in Heaven and Patches Payback fighting for a possible spot in playoffs with Wild THL Fanatics, unfortunately, all but out of the picture. We're going to start off here. Entertainers versus Patches Payback. Marty, can you start me off with this one here? Tell me what happened in this match.
Yeah, so we actually had Quake Lord versus Dirty Mike on stream this past Sunday. I highly recommend you check it out. It was a great 5-game series on Schoolstone. Beyond that, this was a huge win for the Entertainers. They really needed this to solidify themselves into a playoff spot here. Really, Yo Daddy improving to 5-3. Always been a solid player. Seeing that he can win in this conference is very good. Quake Lord though, 7-1. You can't sleep on this guy. This guy is very spooky. Okay, fellow Aussie. He's going to be playing against my teammate Corbett this week. Keep an eye on him.
Wait, they're gonna have
Norway,
the same time zones for the first time like ever?
I don't even know if they're in the same time zone because Australia has, I think, 3 time zones.
I was gonna say I just played against an Aussie last week in Wild, and the time zone differential was staggering to me.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Sweden, I scheduled a match with someone in I think it was Reverb, or no, it was Slate or Slight. I scheduled a match with Slight, and it would have been at 6 a.m. Eastern.
Slight was
Oh,
the
wow.
person I played to.
So
Yeah, so time zone differences. This is why it matters to
yeah,
put in your UTC offset when you register.
absolutely. So beyond that, we see Surlos getting a win with even Reno Hunter. Now, if you remember, we switched to these graphics for Wild and Pro because we were having issues with the website's stats. And this is one of the reasons why. Hunters had no games played apparently last or this week. But as we can see, Serlos won and he played Hunter.
Hmm.
So
Something doesn't add up.
after that, I also want to talk about Seth C versus Vapad 1. Seth C came in as a sub, found a permanent spot in Patches Payback. Very good player, starting off at 2-1 in a strong conference, in arguably the stronger conference of the two. So very well done by him. And I would expect him to do very well in coming seasons as well if he decides to stick around.
Nice. All right, and then our next match we have Made in Heaven versus Hair Club. Very close match here, and Hair Club is the leader right now. Again, if playoffs were to start today, but Made in Heaven is right behind them and just took a win over them. This is going to be interesting. Lemur, can you talk me through this match? What went down in this one here?
Yeah, it matters a lot. Like you were just saying, tiebreakers are huge when you're this close to playoffs, and them only having a differential of 7 points, it could come down to feasibly a tiebreaker. In which case, Hair Club would not pull it out against Made in Heaven. They're gonna. It's all gonna come down to the next. It's next week or next 2 weeks. I think it's
Next week. This is the last
next week. Yeah, this is the last
And
one.
Hair Club has an uphill climb.
Exactly, to act into playoffs. But I mean, currently, you said if playoffs start today, but playoffs are going to start next week. So if they slip up next week again, it could be curtains for them.
There you go. So let's move on into the Brown Conference now. We've got a new leader once again for Brown. A Noyo team retakes that top spot, gets their logo up in the top left here. We've got, if the playoffs were to start today, a Noyo team, Hey Loser, Bash Bros 2, Electric Boogaloo, and Seas of Cheese would be your playoff teams, and there's a pretty sizable gap between that top four and the bottom teams here. Mad Scientists looking at an uphill climb. Twitch.tv/MTG Succulent, much further behind, as are Ghosts of Fell Screams. It looks all but over for those teams down at the bottom, but there's always, a possible chance maybe of, a 20-point explosion and another team getting blown out. We are going to start, though, with the match that kind of flipped the fortunes a little bit here. Mad Scientist takes a 17-7 victory over Hey Loser. Marty, what happened here? This is real surprising. Hey Loser was pretty much the team we thought was going to hold on to that top spot for the rest of the season in Brown.
Yeah, this is huge. Rami being the only one to get the win for Hey Loser, winning over Number Theory. Everyone else really pulling through and bringing Mad Scientists back into the playoff race. It's a surprise to see Glare beating Memnarch. That's why he actually got the player of the week as well, I should mention. But Roni getting swept, Skittles going 1-3 versus Jennison, and Pasca losing to Tomato 1-3 as well. It's really not looking good. They have to get their everything together if they want to stand a chance at playoffs, because at this rate, they're looking at an early exit.
And look at the point differential up there. Bash Bros and C's are at 122 a pop, so we are right neck and neck. Hey Losers at 123. So their seeding in the playoffs is in real jeopardy. They cannot pull it together and get some points next week.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of Seas of Cheese, Lemur, you called it last week that Seas of Cheese was out for blood, as it were. Just, after
I also
losing their
called
top spot, a stranglehold on the conference in the early weeks, got knocked down over and over. And look at this, a 20-4 explosion of points. Talk to me, Lemur. What's going on?
if you could remember, I also predicted a 5-0 for Seas of Cheese, and it came to
Nice.
fruition. Yeah, we Slad with a 3-2 over wild card. They're both of them were very, very good players. I beat Nate Wolf TCG 3-1. Siege got the 3-1 over Casual R. Scritch the 3-0 over Tito Santana, and Blue the 3-0 over Cadbury Leg. It's really, really important. Not so much for Ghost of Fellscream. They were more trying to play spoiler for anything to Seas of Cheese Journey to the Top, sitting down at the 60 points. But luckily for us, we were able to bring it through this week and just push into hopefully securing our playoff spot next week with another dominant fashion win. But I can say that a lot of these matches were a little bit closer than they perceivably look. My match with Nate was very, very close. I know Slad's match looks close and also was very, very close. So I wouldn't say that Ghosts of Fellscream are bad players or anything like that at all. I would just say that wasn't their season. Come back strong next season and give it another try.
There you go. And yeah, Brown Conference looks all but set. There is maybe an outside chance that Mad Scientist just goes nuts and one of the teams has like a complete brick. But without some kind of miracle happening, I'm pretty sure we're looking at our top four in Anoyo Team, Hey Loser, Bash Bros 2, and Seas of Cheese.
Yeah, it's the only possible way it could happen is if Mad Scientist got a 23-point week and either C's, Bash, or Hey Loser scored a 0.
Yeah, or a 1 or 2 or something. I think that still works.
It would work if they got a 23-point week and it was a 2 as well.
Math.
Math, quick math.
Yep, but that does it for last week in the Wild Conference. Let's get your player power rankings up on the screen. Get your rigged emotes ready again because this keeps happening. We got an undefeated player, but we got a different one at number 1. Battle Tagger taking our top spot, 7-1, 22-7, 33 PR, followed very closely behind by JJJ, that's 6 J's, that's 8 wins, 24-13, 31 PAR. In the 3 spot, we have Quake Lord at 7-1. We have Corbett in the 4 at 7-1. Rice Bowl in the 5 spot, also 7-1. Then we get to the number 6 with Absolute at 6-2. Rami holding it down at number 7 at 6-1. Maxibon at 6-2 in the 8 spot. Jailstorm at 6-2 at number 9. And of course, he's got to make an appearance on basically every PPR list. It's the guy who leads all of THL in crossover player. It is Neji Boston at 7-1, 23-7, I might add. He has won every single one of his games by a score of 3-2, which is just kind of absurd to me. But that rounds out your top 10. He makes it close, but he always wins. Congratulations to the top 10 wild players here. As we move on to honorable mentions, we have Sunday at 6-2. We have MTG Squirrel at 6-2. Hazer keeps rising up these rankings, hasn't lost a game yet, only punished by not playing enough early in the season as they came in a little bit late as a perma sub. Slad at 5-3 behind them, and Yo Daddy rounds out our honorable mentions 5-3.
Can we talk about how rigged this is?
I'm just stewing over here, Marty. Please take the lead on this one.
Yeah, so hold on. Let's take a look. How many of those are 5-3?
5-3. We're looking. We have Slad at 5-3.
Well, there's no
Yo
5-3s except honorable mentions, but yeah, just Slad.
Honorable mentions, yes. Yes, we have 2 5-3s.
Oh yeah. Who's outside of the wild rankings?
there are people at 6-2 who are quote unquote just outside of these power rankings, and
just outside.
I wonder who could be just a point off at 6-2.
Interesting. Marty's definitely not trying to talk about himself here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Similarly to a certain player on Everyone's a Winner, whose name starts with an S. No, they don't have similar records at all. Never.
Yep. So,
Only Donde was here
as
to
always,
discuss this.
player power rankings, maybe it's here as well for stirring up some controversy, but that is what we have. From what I've heard, Marty B is the 16th player. So maybe if you win next week or this week, Marty, you might find your way onto this player power rankings
We
screen.
already
What if I want
established
to
that
meme?
wins don't matter for this list. We
What
we
if,
were already
what
past
if
that
I
point.
want to meme? If I win with meme decks,
Does that
does
count
that
for
mean
extra?
does
Just
that
get
mean I jump into the power rankings?
just get better PAR. It's easy.
Oh
Everybody
my
knows that.
gosh.
If I
Uh,
win, if I win with Hunter, do I get into do I get better PAR? Is that the trick?
You'd have to ask Donde.
Tonk it up.
Hold on, let
Donde
me
or
just
Ridiculous Hat.
Real
But
quick,
yeah,
I forgot
ping
to
them real
mention as
quick.
well when we were talking about the Brown Conference, Seas of Cheese and Bash Bros actually play each other this week. So the 122 to 122 play each other. So one of
Oh,
them absolutely is
okay.
getting over the other
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
series.
there's a lot of talk for having talk tomorrow in terms of like where the matches are going to matter for the standings because there's
Yeah.
a lot going on, and
All
it's
right.
one
Well,
of the
then
reasons
things get
why.
close to impossible for mad scientists, but they kind of already
Yeah,
were.
but there's a reason why Hair Club, even though they have a bit of a gap, uh, eighth place they hold, they still aren't guaranteed the spot, and they may even drop. So tune in tomorrow to see more on that.
Yep.
Nice. All right, and as always, we just have so much to cover, so we got to do just always real quick. I'm going to get back to the caster screen here. Here we are again, updated cameras. Look at that, and we've got a very brief little ad for you. We hope that you enjoy the stream and hope that you consider supporting us with your hard-earned bits or subs or whatever may have you. Uh, let's dive right into it. Hey
Oh
there,
man, one
Twitch
of these days.
viewers. Have you subscribed to Team Hearth Legends yet? No? Then make today the day to be a legend yourself and subscribe to our channel. This subscription enables the THL team to help cover the various costs of operating our website as well as improve the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. If you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime, you can actually subscribe to this channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emoticon as well as the lovely THL chat badge. So hit that heart button and keep the notifications on to make sure you catch our team broadcasting live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, check out THL's other social media points of interest, our website, teamhearthlegends.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord at Team Hearth Legends. Check out the THL POW podcast with power rankings for all series wherever you find your podcasts. The true Hearth Legends himself, Saku, continues to post all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Just search Team Hearth Legends to catch everything previously recorded. You're, of course, watching us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Team Hearth Legends Live, or possibly on our YouTube channel in the future. For all you THL fanatics out there, we have THL shows every single day of the week. You can't go wrong tuning in at any time for some amazing Hearthstone-related content. Now back to the good part.
Eventually, you'll let me do one, Ron. Eventually.
Hey, next week, you want to do it? I'm down.
Tune in
I'm
next
game.
week, friends.
Let's
Tune
do
in
this.
next week.
All right, but with that, back to the good part. We are going to put Legacy Meta Report up on the screen. And we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on the Legacy Meta Report because, as we pointed out, the stats have been a little bit flawed so far. We are going to focus on the fact that Paladin and Warrior still seem to be the most frequently banned. Warrior holds down the top spot at the end of everything with the most bans in all of Legacy series. The most frequently brought lineup last week, Druid, Paladin, Rogue, Warrior, although it didn't look too hot in the games themselves. Real quick, guys, what do we think about this legacy meta in the playoffs? Specifically, playoff legacy meta.
Yeah, I think you can't really pay attention to the stats at all at this point. There's going to be a lot of metagaming. People are going to focus on what archetypes are in each class and how they can utilize those archetypes to give them a good spread against whatever they're trying to counter.
Absolutely.
So I don't
Makes
think
sense.
any of it is going to matter a ton. We may see a few lesser known or classes that are less popular, like Mage, more often. But otherwise, I don't think we'll see much of a shift at all. And I don't think any of that will give us any sort of information in how these playoffs are unraveling.
Yeah. Important to
Look at
note that
me
in the
being the bearer
playoffs,
of bad news.
in the playoffs as well. Generally, players will have played each other previously that season, or if they haven't, someone on their team or in their circle will have. So there's a lot of information trading that happens during the playoffs. And that can affect outcomes depending on if players change up their ways or not. And we've seen it in the past a lot. Impact matches quite a bit. So stats are
Absolutely.
really important, but talking to friends and other people is also very important when it comes down to THL playoffs.
Yep. So let's get it up on the screen then. Let's start recapping playoffs and what we saw last week. Here it is. It's Mr. THL's favorite series. It's Legacy. Foolish Madmen, ATL, and F2L, all teams that were still alive at the start of last week from the Gold Conference. There were so many from Gold, we couldn't even get them all up on the same screen for Gold. So we're going to review F2L's match in red. But we're going to start with Foolish Madmen versus Dad Legend. Lemur, can you talk to me about Foolish Madmen, Dad Legend? What happened
Yeah,
here?
Choke Legend strikes again. Two consecutive series at the same time. Foolish Madmen. You can't really call it a choke when Foolish Madmen is 8-0. I mean, come on. They are absolutely smacking this season. It would be interesting if we got to see them in finals. I mean, usually when a team goes undefeated in the regular season, they get out in the first round of playoffs. So getting past now 2 rounds of playoffs, I think Foolish Madmen are in a prime position to potentially get to the finals of Legacy this year, which would be absolutely awesome. But they did so in a dominant fashion over Dad Legend here, winning 4 of the 5 series, and the fifth game was 3-2, so it was super close. So I think Foolish Madmen and Diamond in general this season are performing very well and will continue to make their mark on this playoff.
Absolutely. Yeah, Foolish Madmen just a force to be reckoned with right now. They've blazed through the regular season. They're planning on blazing through the playoffs as well. So let's see what happens with that. Who, if anyone, can stop this team? Um, and next we've got Meme Dream Team versus Always Top Deck Lethal. I normally would have flipped, so Always Top Deck Lethal showed first as the team that won, but that screenshot doesn't let me show that Clone is the captain of Meme Dream Team. So we're just going to use this screenshot. Marty, can you talk to me about this match? What happened here?
Yeah, so this was